guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm a homeschool mom to 3 kids, and today I'm going to be sharing a fun book haul with you. So this video is super fun because it's a collaboration with my friend Megan over at Pennies and Salt. If you don't know Megan, which would be really hard to believe, but if you don't know her, you should really go check her out because she's an amazing homeschool mom. She has a lot of homeschooling experience, and I love to kind of glean wisdom off of her. She has a lot of tips and tricks and advice. She has been one of my favorite homeschool moms to get to know this past year. She's such a lovely person, and I know that you'll enjoy her videos. So go check her out. Her channel and video will be linked down below. So some of these books are from Thriftbooks, and then some of these books are from Amazon. So I always go to Thriftbooks first. If I need a book, if I'm looking for read alouds or books for our curriculum, I always go to Thriftbooks first because they have the best prices. You can get gently used books there for a really good price. And so I always go there. The other thing I love about it is they have an app, so it's really easy to add books to your cart and keep track of your orders and your free book rewards, which you get really easily after you like accumulate points, and you get free books, and it's amazing. So definitely check out Thriftbooks. I had to purchase a few picture books because we are actually going to be doing Around the World with Picture Books by Beautiful Feet next year. And so I purchased the books for the first 2 countries that we're going to be kind of diving into, which are China and Japan. I have actually never read any of the picture books on this list, so I don't know much about them, but it's what's required of the curriculum, so I purchased them. The first book that I purchased is A Story About Ping, and then we have Crow Boy, The Tale of the Mandarin Ducks, Grandfather's Journey, and The Lotus Seed. So those are the ones that are required to be purchased for the curriculum, and then there's also like a library book list that I plan to utilize as well as we go through the countries and get more books from the library to kind of add in as extras. The next book I purchased was The Complete Tales of Winnie the Pooh. Now, I needed this book for my preschooler's curriculum next year because she's going to be using Primer with Pooh from A Year of Learning, and the complete collection is required for it. But I was so excited to find this version on Thriftbooks because this version is beautiful. It's a leather-bound hardcover. It has gold trimmed pages and full color illustrations inside. And I found this on Thriftbooks. This brand new is around $40. And on Thriftbooks, I think I got it for like $8 or $10. I can't really remember, but I know it was super affordable. And it literally looks like a brand new edition. So I was so excited to find this. The next book I purchased was The Frog and Toad Storybook Treasury. Now we have one Frog and Toad book, and I don't remember which one it is, but it's like a collection of stories, and my kids love them. They're such fun stories to read. And so I wanted to get this because it's got even more stories in there. I like that it's a little bit bigger text and bigger pictures inside, and so this is just a collection of a few different stories from Frog and Toad. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the chapter books, novels that I purchased. So some of these are going to be read alouds together, and then some of these books are for the brave writer, arrow guides that I plan on using. And some of these are just individual readers for my daughter, so just for fun or ones that I want her to read this year. The first one is Ragweed, and I've heard really good things about this series by Avi, and it's about mice. And my daughter loves books about where the animals are the main characters and like talk and have adventures. So I got her the first book in this thinking she would enjoy that. I got Cogheart, and the reason I got this was because it was like a suggestion if you enjoyed The Train to Impossible Places. This is supposed to be like similar, like that engineering base. And basically this is about a girl and her father is missing. And so it's kind of like a mystery fantasy engineering story. The next one is Walking with Miss Millie. I have actually heard really good things about this story. It's about a girl named Alice, and she has to move to a small town in Georgia, and she is not happy about it. But then she's kind of hired to walk her neighbor's dog, but the dog won't walk without its owner, which is like an elderly neighbor. And so she ends up kind of walking with the neighbor lady and her dog and learning life lessons and like the story of her neighbor's life and the things she's been through. I think this is going to be a really good book to give perspective and kind of a look inside what other people go through. Red Berries, White Clouds, Blue Sky. This one I've also heard really good things about. This is like a historical fiction book, and it takes place during World War II and gives a perspective of kind of the Japanese and what they went through during World War II. And it follows a young girl and her story, and it just looks like a really beautiful historical fiction story. Song for a Whale. Now this looks like a beautiful story. This is about a little girl. Iris is a 12-year-old girl who was born deaf. Her hearing classmates at school aren't good at sign language like she is, so it's not easy to make friends. Blue 55 is a whale who sings a song that no other whales can hear. Scientists have dubbed him the loneliest whale in the world. When Iris learns about Blue 55 in science class, she knows exactly how he must feel and comes up with an idea. She's going to sing back to him. Will the loneliest whale in the ocean finally be heard? And can Iris show how a little determination can make big waves? So I thought this looked like a really pretty story. Navigating Early. Now this is about a boy named Jack. His father sends him from home in Kansas to attend a boys' boarding school in Maine. Jack doesn't know what to expect, certainly not Early Auden, the strangest of boys. Early keeps to himself, reads the number pi as a story, and refuses to accept truths others take for granted. Jack, feeling lonely and out of place, connects with Early, and the two become friends. During a break from school, the boys set out for the Appalachian Trail on a quest for a great black bear. As Jack and Early travel deeper into the mountains, they meet peculiar and dangerous characters and make some shocking discoveries. So I thought this sounded like a really fun kind of adventure story, and again giving a little bit of a different perspective to people who may be different from us. Beyond the Bright Sea. Now this is by Lauren Wolk, who also wrote Echo Mountain. Echo Mountain happened to be like one of our favorite books that we read last school year. It was like our favorite read aloud. Lacey was obsessed with it, and so I decided to pick up another one of her books because we really like the style that she writes. So this is about a little girl. She's 12 years old. She's lived her entire life on a tiny, isolated piece of starkly beautiful Elizabeth Islands in Massachusetts. Abandoned and set adrift in a small boat when she was just hours old, Crow's only companions are Osh, the man who rescued and raised her, and Miss Maggie, their fierce and affectionate neighbor across the sandbar. Crow has always been curious about the world around her, but it isn't until the night a mysterious fire appears across the water that the unspoken question of her own history forms in her heart. Soon, an unstoppable chain of events is triggered, leading Crow down a path of discovery and danger. It's a gorgeously crafted, intensely paced tale that explores questions of identity, belonging, and true meaning of family. The next one I got is Free Water. Now this sounds so good. This is definitely one we're going to do as a read aloud. Under the cover of night, 12-year-old Homer flees Sutherland Plantation with his younger sister, unwillingly leaves their mother behind. Through tangled vines, hidden doorways, and over a sky bridge, the two find a secret community called Free Water deep in the swamp. In this society created by formerly enslaved people and some freeborn children, Homer finds new friends, almost forgetting where he came from. But when he learns of a threat that could destroy Free Water, he crafts a plan to return to the Sutherland Plantation, free his mother from enslavement, and help his new home. And when I looked into this book, I watched a video about the author, and she said that it's loosely based on true history. So she read about these swamp villages that slaves escaped to, and so she decided to write a fiction story based on those historical elements, and this sounds like a really good book. I'm so excited for this one. The Wollstonecraft Detective Agency, and this is a series, and this one is called The Case of the Missing Moonstone, and this one is about two girls, I believe loosely based on actual historical figures in history that really didn't know each other, but they brought them together for this book in a fiction way, and they're girls and they're innocent looking, but they solve mysteries. And so this is about case of a stolen necklace. It's full of suspense and mystery, and I think that my daughter's gonna really like this one. Number the Stars is a very classic book, and we are kind of diving into more like diverse books. I really want to kind of expose my older daughter to some of the hardships that we face through history. There's so many of them, but I think that the Holocaust is definitely one that I want to talk to her about, and so I think that this is going to be a really good book to introduce that difficult topic. And I think that this is going to be one that I kind of assign to her to read on her own, and then we kind of discuss and everything. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. Courage to Run, and this is a story based on the life of Harriet Tubman. And again, trying to expose her to some of the hardships that people have faced through history. And this one is like a childhood tale of Harriet Tubman and kind of how she was as a child and what she kind of like grew up to be and why, and like how she went from like a little enslaved girl to freeing over 300 enslaved people through the Underground Railroad. This is actually part of a series. Like there's like a new cover. I think they kind of revamped it. This is one of the older versions, but they have like a new cover and they made it into a series, and it follows like people through history and kind of their untold stories or their less known stories. The Year of the Panda. Now, I solely got this basically for my son. So when I'm selecting read alouds for my kids, I try to kind of balance it out and make sure it's something that like he would like to. He loves pandas. I don't know what it is about pandas, but he loves them. And so when I saw this, I thought it sounded really, really interesting. I think it will go really well with when we're studying China as kind of an extra, you know, read aloud. Lu Yi has always lived on a farm in the Chinese countryside. He can't imagine living anywhere else, but one day he hears government men asking his father to sell the farm. Can the government force them to move? His father says no, but Lu Yi is worried. The strange events multiply when a panda appears in a neighbor's yard. Pandas have always been creatures of mystery, living deep in the bamboo forest on the mountainside. Why should they come down now? Lu Yi has a feeling the two mysteries are connected. Then he finds an orphaned baby panda in the woods and becomes even more involved. And it just sounds like a really fun story. It's not too long, and I believe it has some illustrations in it too. So I think this is going to be a really good read aloud, nice, quick, simple one that my son will enjoy too. Green Glass House. This is an arrow guide we plan on doing this year. It's winter time at the Green Glass House. The creaky Smuggler's Inn is always quiet during this season, and 12-year-old Milo, the innkeeper's adopted son, plans to spend his holidays relaxing. But on the first icy night of vacation, out of nowhere, the guest bell rings, then rings again and again. Soon Milo's home is bursting with odd, secretive guests, each one bearing a strange story that is somehow connected to the rambling old house. As objects go missing and tempers flare, Milo and Meddy, the cook's daughter, must decipher clues and untangle the web of deepening mysteries to discover the truth about the Green Glass House. I love like mysteries, and so I am excited to read this one. Midsummers Mayhem is a book based on kind of Midsummer's Night Dream, except retold in a more modern way. And this is about 11-year-old Mimi Maxon. She comes from a big Indian American family. The youngest of four, she feels invisible, but her dream of proving herself seems possible when she enters a contest at the brand new bakery in town. But when Mimi's dad, a renowned food writer, mysteriously loses his highly honed sense of taste, she worries she'll never be able to bake something impressive enough to propel her to gastronomic fame. As she struggles with what to make, Mimi is drawn into the woods behind her house where she meets Vic, a boy who shows her parts of the forest she's never seen. She knew there were banyan trees and wild boars in Massachusetts. Together, they discover exotic ingredients and bake them into the delectable and enchanting treat. So I thought that this looked super cute. It's about baking and like friendship and adventures in the woods, and I think it looks really good. A Single Shard. This is about Tree Ear, and he breaks a ceramic masterpiece. He works to repay a debt to the gruff potter Min. Tree Ear dreams of someday making beautiful pots himself and is crushed to learn that while homeless orphans can perform backbreaking labor, they cannot become potters. Still, Tree Ear toils to help Min achieve his dream of receiving a royal commission. And when he undertakes a long and dangerous journey, Tree Ear discovers his own dreams just may be as enduring as a single shard of perfect pottery. A Long Walk to Water. This, I think a lot of people read for homeschooling. This is about Naya. She goes to a pond to fetch water for her family. She walks 8 hours every day. Salva walks from his war-torn village. He's a lost boy refugee destined to cover Africa on foot, searching for his family and his safety. 2 young people, 2 stories, 1 country, Sudan. This looks so good. This is a book that covers 2 different stories, one in 2008 and one from 1985, with one message that kind of is the same thing. And so I think that this looks like a beautiful story, again offering perspective. I'm all about that this year. The Green Ember. Now this is also an arrow guide that we're going to be doing this year, but also this has been on my list to read. This looks like such a fun story. Again, the animals are the main characters. It's about adventure and like knights and princesses and all sorts of stuff, kingdoms. So I'm excited to read this. I think this is going to be one that Lacey definitely enjoys. Pie. This is the first arrow we're going to be doing. I've already said that before. This is about a cat and a girl named Alice. Alice's Aunt Polly, the pie queen of Ipswich, passes away. She takes with her the secret to her world-famous pie crust recipe. Or does she? In her will, Polly leaves the recipe to her extraordinarily fat, remarkably disagreeable cat Lardo, and then leaves Lardo in the care of Alice. Suddenly the whole town is wondering how you leave a recipe to a cat. Everyone wants to be the next big pie contest winner, and it's making them pie crazy. It's up to Alice and her friend Charlie to put the pieces together and discover the not-so-secret recipe for happiness, friendship, family, and the pleasure of doing something for the right reason. So this just looks like kind of a funny story, and again about baking, which Lacey loves, and yeah, it looks interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this book haul. I love books. I feel like you can never have too many books. Am I right? I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you found some that piqued your interest. Let me know below what ones sound the best to you. And don't forget to check out Megan's channel and her book haul video. I will, again, link it down below for you. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in another video very soon.